Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic here in this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at these Zer's inventories, random rolls, his location, all that for February 26, 2021. So you can find these Zer in his very location on Nessus. Just head over to the Watcher's Grave and then make your way on top of this little, well, I guess it's a big tree, this little big tree over here, and you can find him standing right here where it is regular location. You guys ever ask yourself, what happened to that golden barge? Because if you did know, there was a giant golden barge here. After the arrivals, I believe it was, or something like that, it fell out of the sky, or fell out of hovering, and it was on the ground. Where did it go? Who took it? Like, did somebody just put it in their backpack and take it? Like, what is this? This is a high overview of everything that he has available, in case this is all you cared about. Starting up with the weapon today, we have the Monte Carlo. Definitely one of my favorite weapons in the game. Definitely a top 10 PvE primaries. If you don't know, it's that's what my video for the weekend's gonna be, top 10 PvE primaries, so stay tuned for that. For the sheer fact that this literally fits in with so many builds. If you've never heard of it, dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and has a chance to fully charge your melee with each kill. The important part here is it's just dealing damage. You shoot an entire clip into a boss, you get your full melee back just by dealing damage. And with that, this weapon gains increased damage for melee kills and kills with this weapon, basically swashbuckler, and melee kills grant ammo for this weapon as well, so kind of like Grave Robber. And on top of that, it also has high caliber rounds, meaning that it's pretty good for Crucible as well. High caliber is always really nice to flinch the targets. On top of it already being a 600 RPM exotic tier stats weapon, it does pretty well in the Crucible as well. It's not the top tier weapon, but it works with so many builds, especially, for example, the Stasis Warlock, having more of those freezing melees that literally freeze supers on contact. This weapon is definitely going to be the best option. And there's more than that. You can use this with Howlfire Heart, with Claws of Ankara, Necrotic Grip, with Celestial Fire, any ranged melee, anything with Solar Plexus, anything that has to do with melee whatsoever. You don't even have to get kills with melee. This thing is so very effective in so many builds. If you don't have it, pick it up. It is definitely worth it, and it is a very strong weapon. Up next for the Hunter Exotic, we have the Frosties. Increase your grenade, melee, and dodge regeneration while sprinting, and dodging increases the sprint speed. From my experience, this increase is very small. It actually got nerfed. Apparently it was stacking multiplicatively before, and now it's the linear or the constant, so it's even worse than it used to be, where nobody even used it anyways. Not to say that you can't use it. It is very universal, can be used with stasis, but there are other options that I think are better. So it's just really not an exotic that I really like. As far as the roll goes, actually a pretty good roll. You know, you got intellect, you got recovery, you got some mobility, you got some stats all over the place, and a total of 62. Not a bad roll for this exotic. I might even pick it up just for the fact I can get 1300 power. Again, big tip here. If you have other characters that are less than your highest character, go on your highest character, go to the Zer, and purchase the stuff for those characters. This will give them a power bonus. Probably shouldn't have bought that, but you have a high level for my Warlock. Up next for the Titan Exotic, we have Antaeus Wards. Used to be absolutely crazy in the Crucible, but it did get a nerf. First of all, it improves your slide, meaning it goes farther and faster, and sliding after sprinting for a short time, important part right there, reflects incoming projectile. It reflects the entire projectile, you take no damage, and that entire projectile heads back towards the enemy. Used to be where literally every slide which reflects stuff, sometimes even reflecting stuff behind you. This thing was crazy, because if you came at him with literally anything, with your shotgun shots, with your super damage, it would just literally reflect it back. However, now it's more like shoulder charge. You have to sprint for a short duration, which made it go from a 9.5 out of 10 to like maybe a 6 or 7, which makes it not part of the meta. And obviously they also remove the PvE part where you get super energy after reflecting projectiles, and that was the only thing that you would really use it for PvE, and really wasn't that good anyways. As far as the roll goes, you'd like to see mobility, recovery, maybe even strength. Doesn't really have that, and the total stats is pretty low, so I personally would not recommend this version. And finally, for the Warlock Exotic, we have the Vesper of Radius. First and foremost, let me just put that ornament on. I really do like this ornament. If you've never heard of it, Rifts release an arc shockwave when cast, and Rift energy recharges faster when you're surrounded by enemies. Let me tell you, if you've got 3 enemies around you, you get your Rift in like 3 seconds. This thing recharges really, really quickly. And if you really like your Rifts, for whatever reason, it's part of your build or whatever you're using, this is actually one of the better Rift exotics, just for the sheer fact of getting more Rifts. However, obviously there are other exotics that have more attunement to the well stuff, which is going to be more important for higher level play because they're way better than the Rift. As far as the roll goes, you'd like to see, I guess, more recovery, but overall it doesn't really matter. Resilience is not really something I'd use in PvE, so I don't really particularly like this roll, although it is a 63 roll, which is decent. Outside of that, make sure you're picking up your exotic cipher quest, which I think I've already picked up on my character. Yeah, I already have it. The exotic cipher quest, which gives you an exotic cipher every single week for doing Gambit and Strikes and Crucible, which is a free cipher that you can either use on exotic engrams or you can use on the exotic archive, whatever you want. And also, again, the exotic engram is guaranteed to give you an exotic that you do not have or have never received, and it also is guaranteed to be a high stat roll. If you have all the exotics, obviously you're not going to be able to get that. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten Stronghold from the Zur, and I just delete every single time. Zavala's left nuts. Yeah! Get him! Get that Zur! Yeah! Anyways, that's going to be the end of the Zur video. Let me know in the comments down below if any questions, concerns. Just a ghost sparrow, I guess. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them. And usually I have my live streams right after these videos. For the weekend, I will not be streaming. I'll be visiting my parents, so Friday and Sunday I will not be streaming, but I'll be back next Tuesday. And again, make sure you stay tuned for the top 10 PvE primers video I'm going to be releasing this weekend. And of course, big thank you to my patrons on Patreon. Without their help, I would probably have to get a real job, and I wouldn't be able to spend nearly as much time on doing this stuff on the channel. So specifically, I want to give a big thank you to Mediwodu, Mom and Dad, Shadow Moon, Joe Smith, Monday, Natalie Halpin, Steve Bochnowitz, Justin Herrera, Raymond Showman, Human Panther for their support. That's good enough. That's the end of the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.